Hi guys, it is Tuesday, March 6th, and I am driving up to Flagstaff. My mom and I are going to, well, we have an appointment at the funeral home at 1 o'clock, and then we're gonna do some stuff, you know, just like taking care of the things that you have to after somebody passes away. So contacting Social Security and letting them know, and you know, I have a list of things that we need to do. I also brought my camera so that I could so we could start to take some pictures that we'll use in the slideshow at my dad's memorial service. And yeah, and then we both have appointments for acupuncture later in the day, and I haven't had acupuncture for months now. You know, I was going for my jaw, and then my jaw's been doing a lot better. Although I'll tell you, since my dad's death, I must be really grinding at night because it's kind of been getting sore again. So this will be actually really good to go and just sort of relax. And well, I was up in Flagstaff for the day. I'm heading home. We took care of the stuff at the funeral home, and we went over to the care home where my dad was staying, and we got his stuff. A lot of his clothing and stuff we left because the lady who runs the place knows of a guy who's in another care home who apparently just doesn't have a lot of clothes, and so we thought we would donate them. But I took a couple of my dad's favorite flannel shirts, just because on stormy days I like to just put on sweats and a baggy shirt, and I thought I would just wear my dad's shirt, which will be baggy on me. I also got some of his pajama pants that I don't know, I just had a really hard time letting go of his stuff, you know. So I took 3 pairs of pajama pants and 3 flannel shirts, and then I also took, he always wore a hat, and so he had a baseball hat that I thought maybe my husband would like, and then he had this other hat that's, I'll have to show it to you in another video clip, but he always would wear a hat. He had a bald head, so he would wear a hat when he went out, but even inside the care home for the last several months, he would just put on his hat and wear his hat. So I put it on my head thinking, oh, maybe it'll be a cute hat for me to wear, and it's not. It's not good for me. It's too, like, you know, it's not like it's too small for my head, but it sits too small for a female hat, you know. And so, but I thought, you know, maybe I'll just hang it on a chair or something, and maybe someday I'll let go of it. But right now, I just didn't want to. And I'll tell you, the thing though that was really hard to see was there was a bag that they gave us that had his wedding ring and his glasses and hearing aids and a cross necklace that he always wore. And it was just so strange to see those things separate from him. So, okay, so let's not talk about that. Then I went to acupuncture. I haven't been to acupuncture since before Christmas, and boy, did it feel good. I forgot how great that feels. And so it was just really nice to do that. I'm going to go again next week. It just felt great. It just felt so tingly when it was all done and relaxing. So that was good. One thing I was going to tell you guys is that John and I are more than likely going to be moving probably fairly soon. it's kind of, I mean, just the thought of moving again. I mean, we only have lived in this current house for a year and a half. He's been working a float job for the last, since last May. And so basically he fills in for people, and it was great. I mean, for the most part, he has had 40 hours a week. No health insurance benefits though, and but then there will be times when it's pretty slim. Like he had 2 weeks in February where he did not work. Yeah. And so now that he's finished his CAT scan license, we're sort of thinking, you know, it's time for him to have a full-time job with benefits. And especially since we're paying for benefits now that I've retired, that will be really nice to have. And so, and it looks like in the Verde Valley, somebody's going to have to die before he gets a job in that area. So we're looking at either the Phoenix area or Flagstaff. If it's Flagstaff, he would stay with the same company. They just have locations up in Flagstaff as well, and there is a position open. So he put in for it, and we'll see if he gets it. In the meantime, he is still looking for openings down in the Phoenix area. You know, at this point, I don't really care. I mean, I kind of care where we go, but I can see advantages and disadvantages to both. Flagstaff, of course, I love because it's beautiful, and the summers are really nice, and we have friends there and a church and everything, and so I can see advantages to that. The couple of disadvantages would be, one, that it's cold for half the year, and also it's more expensive to buy a house there. Housing is quite a bit more expensive. Also, I like a smaller city. Phoenix, you know, has its advantages because it has more months of the year where you could comfortably sit outside, although it's really hot in the summer months. It's a bit big, sprawling city, like 3.5 million people or something. I mean, it's huge compared to Flagstaff, which is like 60,000 people. And of course, cost of living is less. We do have some friends down there, and John's family is down there. My mom has a place in Flagstaff and in Phoenix, so it's, you know, it's not like I'd be moving away from her. I would just be moving toward her other house. So yeah, it's I don't know. We'll just see. Right now, I mean, it could be that he gets a call next week and he gets that job in Flagstaff, and then we would be putting our house on the market. I have no idea whatsoever how fast our current house will sell. I do not know. I mean, it's a very specific kind of person would want a house that is the size it is, and with a big property that needs a lot of maintenance, and but it's also, you know, peaceful and serene and rural, and you know, and it's also, from what I understand, that area is becoming a big retirement area. So it could be that there's somebody who's, you know, still, like, our street has almost all retirees on it, and they're just guys who like to piddle in their yards and, you know, do stuff, you know, just take care of landscaping and things like that. So who knows? Maybe there's somebody who's been looking for something like that, and our place is going to be just what they want. Or maybe it'll sit on the market a while. I have no idea. The advantage to the Flagstaff thing and selling the house is if the house doesn't sell right away, John can commute to Flagstaff, and it's not that big of a deal. Commuting to Phoenix would be a bigger deal because we would be thinking of living in the East Valley, which would be, you know, more like an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes. So he's not going to commute that long to work. So, yeah. Anyway, that'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. And I quite honestly am not going to miss where we are right now. I've just sort of realized that rural life really isn't for me. We just have to drive so far to everything. And if you even cancel out all my trips to Flagstaff to see my dad, and just talk about like getting to a Home Depot's a half an hour. The nearest Walmart is a half an hour. The nearest Michael's is an hour. The nearest Costco is an hour. You know, everything is quite far away from where we are. And then, you know, I had mentioned before, I think that we just didn't really click with a church, and we just didn't really, you know, connect with people. And so I'm not, you know, I'm not going to be sad to leave that. If we'd still had the cows behind our house, I would be sad to leave the cows, but the cows got moved, and so it kind of took a lot of the charm out of where we lived. Yeah, I mean, the other night I took Monica outside to go to the bathroom, and I heard a rooster and I heard a cow, and I thought, oh yeah, that's kind of nice. So there are definitely some nice things about living out in the country, but I think that for the kind of life that John and I typically live, you know, the things that we do, being in a city, whether it be a big city or a small city, is more our cup of tea. So yeah, I'll let you know what happens with that. It could be something that drags out for a while, and it could be something that happens right away and we'll start packing immediately. Ugh, the thought of that just kills me, but I'll be happy for us to, you know, for John to get into a good steady job, and for us to settle in a place where we know people and all that kind of stuff. So keep you posted. Hi guys, it is Friday, March 9th, I think. Can't keep track of the date anymore. I'm going to go grocery shopping, but I am also stopping at Walgreens for something very specific. I'm going to get some surgical tape. And the reason I'm doing that is that we're going to start taping Monica's ears. So with Vanessa and Chloe, we never had to worry about that. When they came to us, they already had these ears that were sticking up, and Monica's are floppy. And apparently with Boston Terriers, it's very normal for them to have ears that flop backwards when they're teething. The thing that concerns me is that one of her ears, like if she perks up, one of her ears, even though it flops backwards, you know, normally, it'll perk completely straight up when she's like, ooh, what's going on? But the other one is just, the ear actually even feels thinner, and it just flops all the time. So the reason, and I saw on the breeder's website, they have one puppy still, and they're taping her ears because hers are doing the same thing. The thing is that they're supposed to stand up by the time they're 5 months. But if they haven't stood up by the time they're 6 months, they're never going to. So there's this really short window, and we could wait and say, oh, you know, they'll probably just stand up. But if taping the ears will help her ears to, you know, develop and stand up the way they're supposed to, you know, I suppose we'll never know if the taping helped or if it was just you know, a short window of time that was going to make them flop, you know, pop up. But I have actually seen some Boston Terriers that, you know, their ears just flopped, and once they got to a certain age, they weren't going to go up anymore. So So anyway, you just take a little piece of surgical tape and just put it on the inside of the ear, and it keeps it doesn't rip the hair out when it comes off, and it just kind of gives a little extra stability to the ear. She'll probably hate it, but we'll see what happens with that. We'll try. And, you know, John was going, I don't want to tape my dog's ears. And I said, well, you know, if it's just about us dealing with this for a couple of months, wouldn't you rather have a Boston that had its ears sticking up as opposed to one that had one that was flopping backwards all the time? So, you know, I mean, if her ears flop, that's okay. She's adorable and we love her. But thought we would do that. I have a bit of really bad news, you guys. I mean, on top of the fact that my dad died 5 days ago, John's mother's cancer has come back. And it apparently, I mean, her CA-125 tripled in the last 3 weeks from the time she had her blood work done 3 weeks ago. She's having surgery today. She has a hernia. And that's how they found all this. They didn't know if it was like scar tissue they were seeing or recurrence of cancer, and apparently it's in 2 different locations, like around where her female parts are, and then also something that appears to be near her liver. So she's getting her hernia surgery done today, and the surgical oncologist is going to be there at the surgery, taking advantage of the fact that she's already opened up, and he's going to go in and try to clear out as much of the cancer as he can find, and and then they're going to get pathology on it, you know, because they always have to do that. But the thing is that apparently the prognosis when ovarian cancer comes back, and probably especially when it comes back as quickly as it did, because she finished chemo in September, the prognosis is not good. You know, like she could go through more chemo and then 3 months later find that it's back again, and with a vengeance and all that. So my mother-in-law has decided that she's not going to treat it. She's going to let them do surgery and take out as much as they can, and then she's just going to let this be the end for her. So weird and so sad, and John's kind of in shock. I mean, he doesn't disagree with her. He's not trying to talk her out of it, but he's just like, well, you know, I mean, if she's going to go through 4 months, if she would go through 4 months of misery going through chemo, only to get 4 more, not even 4 more perfectly good months, because she, you know, after her chemo for a couple of months, she was just weak. Hey guys, sorry that cut out when I was when I was filming the last clip. We have since found out some more information. When my mother-in-law was in surgery, the oncologist was in there first, and then the guy who was going to do the hernia surgery was going to come in at the end. The oncologist opened her up and said that her abdomen is full of cancer, and he just said it's inoperable, and she has 6 months to live. So yeah, my father-in-law called to tell John, and he's doing okay. He has a lot of support. My father-in-law is a recovering alcoholic, and he has a lot of support from people in AA, so that is just wonderful. And says he's not feeling the need to drink or anything. And anyway, so, you know, who knew that it would turn out this way? But she's totally, when I talked to her yesterday about it, she was, Monica's digging at stuff if you can hear. Anyway, she's totally comfortable and says she's ready to meet Jesus, and yeah, it's just going to be really, she's just like a rock in our family, and it's going to be hard. And to think that John and I are going to each lose a parent, in 2018. We're still going to pray for, you know, that God would heal her. But if he doesn't, if it's her time and she's supposed to go, then he will take care of everything. So, talk about, yeah, when it rains, it pours, huh? But anyway, just you know, just be praying for Debbie and for the family and the grandkids and all this. I mean, she really is just so important in so many lives, and yeah, we would appreciate your prayers.